This video is batch scheduler troubleshooting number 3. So make sure you've watched video 1 and 2 before watching this one. So we're going to concentrate on the student scheduled details tab. This is my favorite tab because this is where I'm going to see what's really wrong with my schedule and if I can make adjustments to get better results. So if I go back to this first tab, I have these 5 categories: fully scheduled with request error, partially scheduled, and not scheduled due to time limit. If you have kids in any of these sections or these categories, they will appear on this student scheduled detail and it will tell you who those kids are. So in the fully scheduled section, I have a ton of kids. That's great. They're fully scheduled. I'm not worried about them. That means they had 2 course requests, they got 2 classes scheduled. If they had 7 course requests, they got 7 scheduled. So they are good to go. Remember, fully scheduled does not mean they don't have any open periods. That's not the scheduler's job. The scheduler's job is to fulfill as many course requests as it can. So this fully scheduled with request error, these are the ones we talked about in video 2 that had their course requests still pending. And I didn't even have to look at this fully scheduled with request error section on tab number 2 because I found those students when I looked in request status messages. It told me who those 4 students were. And this one at the bottom was the one that I looked up in video number 2. So what I'm really going to concentrate in this video is partially scheduled. So we'll go with the first one, Israel Wellington. And this is where it's super important you have a second browser open of Dazzle, because I want to stay on this tab. I don't want to keep leaving it to go look up students. And you can't open other tabs in the same browser. You'll have a mess. You'll have a disaster, and you'll think again that Dazzle's not working right. You need to open a new browsing session. And so use incognito or in private browsing. All browsers have this. Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Safari all have that option. So I have another browser session opened, and I am going to look up that student. And so did you notice I copy and pasted their student number? Oops. Well, I thought I did. Come back here. Wellington. And I'll go back here and paste the student number in there. And I'm in 2122, obviously. What I want to do is go to the request assignments page. That's my favorite page for troubleshooting the kids that are partially scheduled. So if you type request ASS, bet you won't forget that, request space ASS in the cheater, it takes you to a different scheduling page. And the first time you do it, get to this page on a day, you have to pick a working schedule and a default schedule and reload. So if you come back to this page in 10 minutes, you're not going to have to do that. That stays for you. All right, so what I love about this page is this little button over here, view the schedule graph, because I can scroll down. Oh, I got period 4 open, period 5 open, 7th period, 2nd semester, and they have period 8 open. And if I look up here, they didn't get 3 course requests scheduled. So let's take a look. So this U099. Now, one of the downfalls of this page is it doesn't tell you what these course names are. But I devised a little cheater system, and how I get around that is if I click this pencil and, oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Go down here and click this green add assignment. I'm sorry, that's what I wanted you to do. And click this ellipsis or the picker. That opens a new window with the course picker, and just leave this open. So I'm going to cancel out of this because all I really wanted was the picker. And I'm going to do U099. And this is Spanish 4, and it's only offered 3rd period. So Spanish 4 only offered 3rd period. If I look Well, she has English 12 third period. So that's why she couldn't get in Spanish. Now let's see, maybe I can move her to another English section so she can get Spanish. So I'm going to go back to my picker. And English was E044. So I go back to my picker and I do E044, enter. And English 12 is offered second period or third period. Okay, so what if I moved her to English 12 second period? Well, that won't work because she's got anatomy. Well, maybe I can move anatomy somewhere else. So C225 for anatomy, and let's see what anatomy is offered. Anatomy is offered second period. It's only offered once. I mean, there's nothing we can do with this student. There's some choices that need to be made at the district or at the school building level. All right, what are we going to schedule her into, because she can't have all these classes the way the schedule is now. Okay, let's look up our next student. If I go back to the stats, and what I do when a district comes in to work with me, or they call me on the phone and we do a Zoom, what I'm doing is just randomly selecting kids in this partially scheduled to figure out, all right, what's wrong with these students? Something is not quite right. And so the next student I'm going to pick is this one, 603062, Hannah. So the first kid I picked was a 12th grader. Hannah Queen happens to be a 12th grader too, but so I'm going to copy and paste her student number, go look her up, and remember I want to be on this request assignments page. So when we look at Hannah, or Jessie Houston, sorry, we look at Jessie Houston, and so we've got third period open, fifth period open, and seventh period and eighth second sem. There are 2 classes she didn't get in. So C243, I don't know what that is. So again, I'm going to use my little picker trick and look that up. And that is AP Physics, and it's only offered one time, 7th or 8th period. Well, if I scroll down here, she's got CCP Public Speaking Debate, 8th period. So that locked her out of getting that AP Physics class. Now, the interesting thing, to me, AP Physics is more important than public speaking, but I could be wrong, but that's how I perceive this. So if I click on the physics pencil over on the right, over on the left, so this is the request pencil. If I click here, so physics is a priority 6. That seems a little low to me. And if I look at the other class, the speaking and debate, E050, my pencil that over on the left, E050 has a 6 too. Shouldn't physics be higher? Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change physics so it has a priority 9. So physics was that C243. So if you type courses in the cheater, you get a ton of results back. It's always the 4th one. And I look that course up, C243, and I pencil this. I'm changing this to a 9 and hitting save. Now what that does, if I go back to the request ASS page and I click the pencil for C243, now it's a 9. So whenever you change the priority, it trickles down to every student who's requested that course. So now when the scheduler runs, it will see, because I'm scheduling by priority, and there's another video especially for that, and I highly recommend you always schedule by priority. But when the scheduler runs again, it's going to see that physics is a 9 and it's a singleton, meaning it's only offered once. So it's going to schedule that before it schedules that public speaking course. Okay, so now let's look at her other. She didn't get it in S189. In S189, if I use my little trick here, is psychology, and it's only offered second period. If I look at her schedule graph, well, she's got anatomy second period, and that's the one I looked up for the first student, Israel Wellington, and it's only offered second period. So that's another, this is an impossible scheduling scenario. She either can get in anatomy or she can take CCP Psych. All right, let's go to some lower grade level students. So I'm going back to that stats. So this is still tab number 2, student scheduled detail. And remember, I'm concentrating on the partially scheduled. So let's go to, I've got a student that I wrote down in the partial scheduled list, 603-546. So let's look him up. 603-546. Frank. So Frank didn't get 4 met. I look at his schedule graph. Frank's a 9th grader, so he's a freshman, incoming freshman. So M342, I'll use my little trick, it's geometry. And geometry is offered to periods 1 or 2 while he's in college prep, physical science, or health. Well, if I look at college prep, physical science, or excuse me, if I look at health, to me, he should be getting in geometry before he gets in health. So my core classes should be the 9s, and my electives should be the lower priorities. So if I look up U910, health is a 9, this definitely needs corrected. Health should not be a priority 9, in my opinion. I look up U342, so you've got geometry is a 7, so that's why it's scheduled health before it's scheduled geometry. So I'll do my trick again. I'll go into type courses in the cheater, pick the 4th one, go to that first tab when I click the edit pencil, and I'm going to change the priority of geometry to be a 9. And then I'm going to edit the health class and change the priority to be lower. I would do like a 6 or something. Again, watch that scheduling by priority video. That will give you some great insights to how that scheduler, how that scheduling capability works. All right, I'm going to jump to some other students. I won't do all 3 of his classes. I think you're kind of getting the drift of where we're going with this. So my next student on my partially scheduled that I've chosen, 603-548. So they're listed in that list of partially scheduled. So I'm going to look them up. All right, getting better. So Joanne is an 8th grader. She only has 1 class she didn't get scheduled for. So if I look, she's got 4th period open in 9th, 2nd sem. If I click the pencil, here's another trick. So 810 is here. If you click the pencil, the corresponding pencil over to the right of that request, it will open this little window here and tell you what is available. It still doesn't tell you the course name, so that's why I'm still using that little trick with the picker. I still don't know the course name of that, so Let's see. So we have 810. We've got it offered first semester, second or sixth period, and second semester, 2, 6, or 8th period. Let's see if she has any of those openings. 2, nope, language arts to me is more important than phys ed. And then 6th period, she's got science. And then 8th period, she's got 2 electives. And so she has 8th period, it's offered second sem, but she's got art. Let's see if she could get art somewhere else. So if I go here and I do 806 for art, art is offered 7 or 8. So we look at 7. Let's scratch study hall. So that's not going to work either. I could give her art first semester because it was available first semester. That term, 8th period. This is term 2, which is second semester, 8th period. But she has transition for career. So let's see if I gave her transition for career another period, could I make this work? Transition for career, no. Because that's only offered 8th period, so she's got to have it one of these. So someone's got to make a choice here. This is an impossible scheduling scenario for this young lady as it stands right now. Okay, let's go do one more. Violet Booth, and unfortunately I didn't write down her number, but she's listed on that partially scheduled detail too. Okay. Violet didn't get E050 or U914. So I look at her schedule graph. She does have 2 periods open, and I'm going to look up U914 because I don't remember what that is. Conditioning. So she can take it 7th or 9th period. Well, she has 9th period open. So why didn't the scheduler schedule into that? So see, conditioning is offered all year 9th period. She has 9th period. Well, here's why. The capacity is 25 and it already has 28 kids in it. So you would need to make a decision, all right, do I want to overfill this again and stick her in this? And let's look at her other one, E050. That is public speaking or debate, and it's only offered 8th period, and she's already got American literature. So if I see what E005, this looks like another impossible scheduling scenario. Oops, E005. It's only offered 8th, so yes, this is another impossible scheduling scenario. So, but I can rerun the scheduler and try to get better results for those courses that I've changed the priority on. So after I've changed the priority, then I would come back and rerun the batch scheduler and do this process all over again. And I will show you that in video number 4.